Hey everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well. Hope your spring is off to a good start. We got some warmer weather and all that stuff moving in. Hopefully we get real warm soon. We got a few guys in here who do not care at all about warm weather. They've been jumping in the ocean here all winter. We are joined by Chucky Rosa, Connor Moholland, Michael Wilson. That's our little right to left. Hello, boys. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
All right. We're going to start with you, Chucky, because you have Chucky's Fight, which is this great cause, and I see you guys on social media, and I see all this stuff you're doing. But why don't you tell people a little bit about Chucky's Fight here, just to get us going?
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, the Abbreviated Virgins were a small nonprofit, a 501c3 up in Seabrook, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. It was started because I'm a father of 6, but I only got 4 kids now because I lost my 2 oldest sons, Dominic and Vincent, to accidental drug overdoses. Mm-hmm. I almost lost a 3rd son, but he's been good for about 10 years. But anyway, I moved up here to try to get my 3rd son through high school, and I left a job I had at a wire factory for 27 years to try to get him through high school without another tragedy. And somebody asked me to speak at their school about the loss of my 2 older sons, and it evolved into a drug and alcohol prevention program, which we do at schools. And then about 15 years ago, somebody asked me to help them get into sober living, which I knew nothing about, quite frankly, but that evolved into us funding a lot of people that, from when they go to detox, instead of going back to the same toxic environment, they pick out a sober living house, and we help fund them to get and help navigate them into sober living so they can get their lives in order. And
that's working, because you just gave me a letter from one of those people here, and that must be touching. I mean,
we get a lot of them because of people that raise money, and the money, we have deals with sober living houses throughout the state. We can get them in the door for a couple $100, and then the journey becomes theirs. People have gotten there, that have lost their kids because they've overdosed too many times. The judge will take the kids away. We get them into sober living. Well, we don't, but they do the work, and we just help orchestrate it a little bit. That's all I'll take credit for. And then they get their kids back. So these little kids got their moms back, and the ripple effect is far-reaching, or it can be. So, they give an opportunity to get their lives in order, and we help orchestrate that, and, through the fundraising. And my son's ashes are in the ocean under the Hampton Bridge, so I've been going in usually twice a day, at least once every day, usually twice. I bless myself and ask them to help me get through the day clean and sober, because I should say this on the radio, but if I could be drinking, I'd be drinking right now. But I'm not. I know one thing I'm not doing today. I'm not using, and I'm not drinking. So I ask them to, sounds a little corny, but that's what I do in the morning after I get done training, and the afternoon when it starts to get a little dark out. It's better now because they turn the clocks ahead, but when it gets dark at 4 o'clock, I start getting a little cranky, and I say, you know what, instead of making a poor choice, I go take my stuff off, except for my little black shorts, and I go jump in the ocean, and it's like a fix to me, and that's what I do. I never know, even if it's 25. There was a good one this year. This winter was pretty mild, but there was one day, I think the wind chill was 20 below zero, and
cold snap in February. I was glad I wasn't out there.
It was a cold one, but that's I make it's easy for me. I'm used to it, and it's a mental game. It's the same thing as not drinking. If you want to do something bad enough, it's not like an unrealistic goal. So that's what I have to do, and it's my way of revisiting my sons, and we use it for fundraising too. A lot of time people come and join us if they have a sobriety date, or we had St. Christopher's Sober Living, which is a sober house up in Manchester. Came down with a bunch of the people that we helped fund, and some that we didn't came in. And it's powerful for them, because if they can, they can jump in the freezing cold ocean when it's 15 degrees out. It gives them it's good for the camaraderie, but it gives them the feeling that, if I can do this, I cannot pop a pill or put a needle in my
do
arm
anything
today.
if you can do that, right?
Yeah. So that's what's up.
I know you. I'm sure you obviously think about your boys every single day.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is a problem in the whole country right now, right? It's a big problem. What goes through your head when you see other families dealing with some of the pain that you've gone through?
I sound kind of a little rough around the edges, but don't be too nice. You got to really draw a line in the sand. I think we coddle people too much, and they need to. I shouldn't say need to. I encourage them because we do a lot of informal, I guess, interventions, and there's not a whole lot of options. If they want to get better, they need to go to a place where they're fighting the same fight everybody else is, and that's sober living, where there's accountability, there's structure. They got to go to meetings, and they get piss tested every other day or something, and once they are accountable to other people and then to themselves, when somebody new comes in, they get to be a role model, and it empowers them, and that's how it works. And but it's never gonna, I shouldn't say never, but by having them living at the house when they're struggling, the parents enabling them, it's a recipe for disaster. They need to be, you kind of got to cut the cord. So that's what, when you say, what do I see, or what do I do? It's hard because parents say, well, I don't want him on the street, or what's he going to do? What's he going to eat, and how's he going to live? And but you're doing them a disservice. You're keeping them sick by allowing that behavior to continue. But a lot of people don't agree with that. They think I got ice in my veins, but I've seen a lot of it, and that's what it doesn't always work, but I know what won't work is the same old. The old saying, nothing changes if nothing changes, and they're not going to have an epiphany someday and say, oh, you know what? I think doesn't work that way. It just gets worse and worse.
Gotcha.
So that's what I think anyway.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you've been through it, so nobody's going to question that
every day. We get calls every day, people struggling, and
you boys, Connor and Michael. Hey guys. Good to see you. What brings you to the table here? Tell me a little bit how you got involved with Chucky.
So I got involved with Chucky about 3 years ago. We do an annual month-long fundraiser. My business, Moholland Repairs, Moholland Surfboard Showers. So I basically dedicate the whole month and make the commitment to get in the water every single day, no matter the temperature. And I have a different one of my business owning friends sponsoring each day to maximize the awareness, maximize the funds that we can raise.
I see a lot of people coming to help you guys out. Eager to help.
Absolutely, yeah. So no shortage of support, which is incredible. No shortage of businesses. We book the businesses fast, 28 throughout the month every year. And it's just been great. We've raised to date about $25,000. Wow. And then we're planning obviously picking up next year for the fourth annual.
Wow, yeah. That's great.
So we're about to celebrate, if my math is correctly, we're about to celebrate 100 people helped pretty soon here at the 25 grand mark. It'll be about 100 people helped.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. That is cool. And Mike, you got involved?
Yeah. I just did my first plunge with them yesterday. Actually.
Oh, that was your first one?
Well, I did it with Connor last week.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely something I want to get on board with. Substance abuse and alcoholism has definitely been it's definitely impacted my life in a lot of ways. I lost my aunt to an overdose about 10 years ago now, and I've struggled with alcohol in the past too. So I'm actually preparing to run across America again, and this time it's for Chucky's fight. So.
Oh, okay.
So the second time.
Again. Wow. So you did it. When did you do that?
2 years ago. I did it for Lucy's Love Bus out of Amesbury. They help children with cancer.
I remember you. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Did we do?
How could you forget him? Yeah, he was everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I think did we talk briefly over Zoom maybe?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay.
I was also in the Yankee homecoming parade. Was it you that pulled me? Someone pulled me aside.
Yeah, that was us too. Yep.
Yeah.
That parade moves pretty quickly.
Yeah, seriously.
That's right. So running across America again. That's right, man. That feels like. I remember doing that Zoom interview with you. It's different to see people in person. It's like you're sitting at your kitchen doing these Zoom interviews. It's weird, but yeah, that felt like forever ago now. Some things in COVID feel like forever ago, and
I know.
Other things feel like yesterday. But I don't know. When are you gonna go across the country? What's
March 1st, 2024. I'll head out. I'm still mapping out the route and all that, but Connor suggested yesterday, actually, so I did it solo last time, pushing all my things in a running stroller.
Yep.
This time around, I'm hoping to get some type of like support crew with me, and even if we can get like someone to drive for a week at a time, or there's other people that have ran across America, like this dude Greg last year, he had like the same 3 for the 75 days that it took him, and so it's hard to get someone to do take that time off to help, but yeah, if anyone wants to come drive for a week and just help,
with anything,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of help, a lot of work to do. So
No doubt.
But yeah,
The studio is well represented, with cross country. We had William Shuttleworth. He's a Vietnam veteran. He walked across the country. He was
remember that.
guest of the show. So,
Cool.
and he made that too. His doctor told him he wouldn't make it, but he made it.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
It's all up
and then
to
Mike, do you want to talk about April 3rd at Choice?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, April 3rd at Choice Fitness, I'll be running the full time. The gym is open, so 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'll be running on that indoor track for
17 hours
17
straight.
You're going to
hours.
jog for 17 hours?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
He's gonna be eating and drinking
Gonna
while running. Yeah.
give it my best shot. So all I can do is just try my best, and
Yeah.
and I'll see, it'll give me a good it'll help me to see where I'm at and stuff. But I'm doing that for Chucky's fight as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And he has done this before. So this
You've done that
second
before,
or
too?
for 17 hours? You said you had it
Yeah,
one
yeah.
time before.
Yeah, so I've ran 75 miles. That's the longest I've done before. I've done some 50-mile races and,
Wow.
and whatnot. So I did the Appalachian Trail, what was it, 5 years ago now. So that
Okay.
really helped get,
Yeah.
get the miles under my belt.
Mental game, but you're going to be in some good shape to do that, too. This is
Right?
it's a long time. Chucky, what do you think it is about the, when you're doing these like deep, important causes and then, there's pain involved, but there's memories and there's rituals you want to get into. What is it that makes you freeing and it makes you feel better about just jumping in that ice cold water on that 15-degree day?
Well, it's just a mental battle. It's not something that's I call a, they say, and I'm one of those guys that says, hey, if you put your mind to anything, you can do it. But realistically, I couldn't run a 3-minute mile no matter how hard I train, but I can get in that water every day. And I know let me put it this way, when it's, I'm a little cranky and it's wind chill is 15 below zero and it's afternoon. I'm not doing cartwheels going down there, but I say to myself, it's probably like, I shouldn't say probably, because I've done my drinking, my drugs. It's like a fix for me, because I know when I'm done, it's going to make me feel better, but I'm not going to want to put my foot up saying, what an idiot you are, you made a bad choice. It's not a bad choice. I think, what I've heard anyway, it has a lot of medical
I've heard
benefits.
and
so it works for me, and I'm thankful that, and it doesn't, it's nothing to me. And a lot of, when I get people come, they seem to really like it. I had a bunch of people from place I do hot yoga at. On a whim, they asked if a bunch of the girls. Anyway, they came down and they loved it. And
so the mental hurdle's cleared, and then so you get in the water. I'm wondering, have you ever how close have you been to missing one? Has there ever been anything where you actually thought, you know what, maybe I'm not feeling well?
In 18 years, right?
it's been a long time. I maybe
18?
Hasn't missed a day in 18 years.
Oh my goodness!
It might have been.
I don't think I realized it was that long.
Yeah, one time I was in my son fights in the UFC and is in Japan. Even when I do presentations out of town, I find a place to go. Like when I do presentations up in Berlin, there's like a river. I've been doing that, but I might have missed a day. 20. I can't. I haven't missed a day in the since I really can remember. But
Incredible
maybe
routine.
one. Yeah, but maybe there was one day. I don't know. But in Japan there was no real war. It was a warm day, and I know I could have done it. But I just make myself do it, and just have to be hard and make yourself do it. But
Is that your? You had pictures there. Is that your son there at the UFC?
Well, there's a couple of my boys. That's what they do for a living, and they come in.
You can show them if you want. They're sweet pictures.
Yeah.
No?
No,
Yeah, right. You don't want to.
This is Lucas.
Point to the camera,
There you go,
Lucas.
Yeah, and he's trying to get into the UFC, and this is Charles, and I have some other. I have a few other kids that one of them trains horses, and the other one does environmental stuff out in Green Bay, and they're doing well. I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
Yeah. You gave me this little. Talk to me a little bit about the dog tag here, because this is. So it says "Live clean or die." I know you made an adjustment to that.
Yeah.
Right? I'll show it to the camera.
Yeah.
There you go. What was the change you made here recently? You said.
Well, when I was asked to go to the schools many years ago, I'll try to keep this quick. No matter what you say, you might be impactful for that day or even a week or something, but people tend to forget, and I really think the cure to this thing is education. The young people don't know the ramifications of using drugs and/or alcohol, and so here's a guy. I come in for an hour a year. I mean, I can't. It's like a speck of sand on the beach. So I said, what can I do to help? Make them remember the pledge that they made, or something that maybe I said that resonated with them. So I decided I went up to New York to a guy, and the long story short is that I had dog tags made, and they can put them in their pocket, or they can put them on their mirror. A lot of the girls say they hang them on their mirror when they're putting their makeup on. A lot of times I see them at like the market or somewhere, and they'll say, "Oh, do you remember me? I came to my school, Timberlane, 7 years ago,"
Yeah.
and I go, "I don't remember you, honey," but
Yeah.
and they say, I said, "Are you making good choices?" And they'll say, "Yeah, I have my dog tag," and sometimes they pull it out of their wallet, So so it's just kind of a tangible thing that they can put their mind to. If somebody asks them, do you want to use, or do you want to get drink or something? They made a commitment to themselves, and they kind of put their thought to the dog tag and say, hey, you know what? It's all about being true to yourself without sounding like a philosopher or lecturer. But that's we've given away almost 100,000 of those at schools, and it seems to have made a difference. It's the best that I can do. Yeah.
You must get. I mean, I can imagine if you're talking to a middle schooler or a high schooler or whatever. I mean, you must get their attention right away. I mean, just the simple fact that you've experienced this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it would get my attention if I was in a classroom as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Well, yeah, I don't want to sound kind of vain, but the teachers and the staff say we try to get through to them, but when you come in, I don't know, I just but they usually leave the room, and I don't beat around the bush, I say it. There's one of my favorite quotes. I love quotes. Is say it straight and it'll never come out crooked. They might not agree with what I have to say, but what I talk about is stuff that I've lived through, because everybody thinks they can manage it until they can't, I had a fighter call me the other night. He's a world-class Muay Thai fighter, and I want to get into the whole thing, but I tell them I've seen it bring some of the toughest guys on the planet we live on to their knees, so if you haven't started, don't, and if you have, get it together before it's too late, because I think that they see other people managing it, and they think, well, if my uncle can do it, I should be able to do it. He has a construction business, and he drinks a case of beer a night. And what I always tell him, I said, ask your uncle if he's ever had a regret that maybe he woke up with a sick stomach, or he might have said something to someone that he wouldn't have normally said if he was clean and sober, maybe hurt somebody's feelings. And I said, I can assure you, if he's honest with you, he's going to tell you he had a regret. You might not end up 6 feet under, or in a fiery car crash, or doing a 10-piece for doing something, in jail for doing something wrong. But something will happen, and it's a risk that you don't need to take. But that's kind of the message I give them: is you're not missing anything, and it's a dead end. And that's the best I can do. And if they want to make that pledge, they come up and they get a dog tag from me, one piece at a time, and they have to look me in the eye. They usually say thank you. They always, thank you. When I say you thank me by honoring your commitment, making good choices, I give them a fist bump, or sometimes the give them a hug, whatever. I know I'm not, but there's no. So
Yeah.
we do what we do, and it's personal, and I think, if it comes from the heart, it reaches the heart. Because I don't have any degree in anything, I don't have any letters after my name, and they know what they're getting when they ask me to come in. I just tell them what's up, what I've experienced, because I live with a lot of guilt that maybe I should have done this, or I thought it was a phase they was going through that was going to pass. And I buried my 2 oldest sons. I almost buried a 3rd son because maybe if I had known more, because there was no alcohol or drugs per se in my family. So that whole hereditary thing, I know there's evidence that says if you are predisposed, you're more likely to. But at the end of the day, what I tell the students as well is that, that you have 2 choices. You can either end up like your drug and alcohol addicted parents, or door number 2 is, I don't want to be like that. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm talking too much.
No. I'd stop you if you don't want to hear it.
All right.
Connor and Michael, what's it like to watch this whole movement play out? And I know obviously you guys feel a lot of Chucky's pain when he does these things too, but to watch all the good that comes out of it, the money, the fundraising, the people that get into better places in their life, like these letters that you guys show. What's it like to watch all that?
It's hard to describe. It's been incredible. It's undoubtedly the most positive thing I've ever done in my life. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a game changer. I think it's really hitting home for me, and I think we need more of this. We need to end the stigma on there's this massive stigma on like people that go to AA or people that are sober. Oh, they can't handle this substance or that. It's like I don't know. It's like who can?
Yeah.
So it's like we need more of these and less breweries and all that popping up, because it can change a life. So
well said about the stigma. Yeah, I meant to bring that up.
Young kids too. I'm noticing like it's stuff that I was, or at least I feel like I wasn't exposed to. It feels like it's more out there even today. Like I said, it's a massive problem in the country right now. That's very general. There's a lot of different things people are addicted to, but I just, I don't know, the accessibility, all that stuff. It just, I don't know. There's only so much a teacher can say, right? It's like sometimes it's easier to just hear it from, people like you guys who've lived through it or
exactly firsthand. Yeah.
It's tough for sometimes the English teacher to say, remember the DARE campaign? That was big when we were there.
Yeah.
Police officer come in and I think everybody tuned out for a little while.
Yeah.
And
the Scared Straight program.
Oh, I remember that one too. Yeah, that's right. Man, that just brought me back a little bit.
Well, I think that's what he had said about when it's like the reason I brought up the TIE fighter is I think that the young people need. It's not a teacher saying. I know no disrespect for the teachers, but when they have
our teachers,
sometimes sometimes when a guy that comes in, sometimes Charles will do a presentation with me, and I've done there's some street credibility. Say, hey, you know what, these guys are not punks. They're pretty tough guys, and they probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be telling them this if it wasn't real. You know what I mean? Like it's some. That they've been through it before, and it can bring some of the toughest guys on the planet to their knees. So it's
top
kind of
athletes. Lawyers, doctors. It's every aspect of life,
exactly.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't discriminate.
Yeah. So, man, what's next for you guys? Do you today's you guys doing Tuesdays and Thursdays in the water? Is that right?
Like I said, this year we're kind of
for fundraising purposes.
We're just kind of going up by the seam of our pants, just kind of winging it. There's no rhyme or reason. If we have a business sponsoring that day, then we'll do it. I mean, I'll do it every other day or 3-4 days in a row. Just depends on who we have supporting and willing to come out. So I'll use this opportunity to say we're still looking for guests, still looking for sponsors for the rest of the month of March. So.
Cool. And you must get emotional seeing these people that probably some of them you don't even know, right? That come and.
Oh yeah. But I mean, we had the freezing for a reason. We do it on
freezing
January.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's a lot of a couple hundred people show up.
And that's on New Year's Day, correct? Annually.
My memory's terrible. I think it's New Year's Eve. I don't. Yeah, it is New
Year's Day.
Yes, it is,
every year, and the governor of New Hampshire comes out for that.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes he comes, and so it's so it's a lot of different walks. People that have been addicted, or people that have lost children, or people that we've scholarshiped that, that I've never seen them before. They'll say thank you, but they're thanking me, but I couldn't do nothing without the support of people. People send us money, fundraising. There's a guy, he came in, he's a tough cookie. He came in every day for a month last year. There was days it was definitely below zero, and I'm used to it, but for someone that hasn't, so it's a big sacrifice for people to do that, and it legitimately, like I said, it helps people. So it's powerful for me to see people that, that are actually doing something that's hard. They must really believe in it, and like I said, the proof is in the pudding. Not everybody makes it. We go to, I don't want to end on a negative note, but we go to a lot of wakes too. People sometimes they get clean, and then their body is not used to what they were doing, and then they relapse. But it doesn't take as much because they. So it's you got to be diligent. If you're trying to do that, you can't. You can, but people a lot of times when they die is because they've cleaned up for a while, and then they have a weak moment, and
they try to do the same amount that they were doing before.
Exactly. Yes, and then that's it.
See that all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. Every family, I think, is affected by it in some way.
Yeah.
It seems like it anyway. Mike, we'll go around one more time. You're getting ready to run across the country, and the 17-hour thing. My goodness, you're doing a lot of running. But Mike Wilson, what would you? And however you want. I would tell people to follow your journey running across the country, or how can they follow you? Or
on Instagram and Facebook.
You good with the Insta? You can keep out your Instagram handle if you'd like.
Yeah, it's Mikey Wills Runs.
Okay.
And
you're starting a podcast too.
Are you?
I'm starting a podcast.
Podcast world.
Mind, body, soul, and science. So just diving into I was a personal trainer for a little bit. I probably will be getting back into that field and stuff, but. I'm sort of taking my love for like exercise science and sort of the spiritual journey I've been on with like the running across the U.S. and the Appalachian Trail and stuff like that, and sort of just taking that. So
very cool. And Connor Moholland, this is actually I know about all this through Connor. We've met a couple years ago, I think, at this point, right?
Yes, that was the first year.
Yeah, it was the first year we were doing it. Yeah, that's right. What's it been? It just I know you mentioned it's rewarding, but as you kind of look back now, you've been in it here for a little while. As you just kind of look back on that, what was a clean slate is not anymore. You guys have done a lot of good. What's that feeling for you like?
It's just remarkable. Again, like hard to describe. It's amazing the involvement. It evolved to more than I ever in a million years would have imagined.
Did you think it would be a however many years you've already been in it, and now going forward?
No, I honestly didn't even know if I was capable of the first year. I was just winging it, and I honestly, I have a high cold tolerance. Anyone that's ever worked with me in the boat building industry will tell you I sweat like crazy all winter. It doesn't matter. I'm going through a roll of paper towels a day. And so I have a high cold tolerance, so I knew I had that in my favor. I'm a dedicated New England surfer, so I'm out there with the wetsuit anyways in the winter. And again, I didn't know if I was capable of it. I just knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know how I could help until I got inspired and got hooked up with Chucky. So it was a good start, I figure. And
water's a natural fit.
Yeah, the first year, like I said, we set a goal that I thought was optimistic at 6,000. We hit that halfway point on day 14. And then we crushed the new goal of 10,000 by the end. First year we raised 11 grand. Second year we raised about 9.
Wow.
So yeah,
crazy. All right, and Chucky, we'll end with this one too. What I know you kept saying, before it's too late. I guarantee you there's somebody out there right now who's maybe done the relapse thing already and maybe got lucky or that sort of thing. What would you tell the person that desperately wants to get out of it but is struggling?
Make phone calls and get yourself into sober living, where you're going to get the support again, and you're going to be fighting the same fight as other people, and people that are trying to get better will legitimately want to help you and listen. You gotta everybody that I shouldn't say everybody, but it's one of those rare times. There's a lot of I'm one of those people. For the most part, we come into this world alone, but it's one of those things that you actually need some support. You got to ask for help. It's good to stand alone, but it also takes a lot of courage to ask for help, and it's out there, but you can't be too proud to ask for it, because that's my opinion, is to get the help you need, and be diligent about it, and that you can do it. It's not an insurmountable task or goal, to get yourself clean and sober. No matter what happens that day, you might not have had a problem at work, or you don't feel good, or nothing seems to be going right. But when you look in the mirror at night, you can at least say, hey, you know what, I didn't pick up, whether it's heroin or alcohol or whatever it is that you were struggling with, and it's a win. It's a fist fight that you can win every day. That's the way I look at it.
Well
so that's
said.
how I would tell them to get help, because nobody's going to parachute out of the sky and say, oh, come with me. You've got to make it happen.
Yeah.
You've got to advocate for yourself.
And you guys all said in unison, I think earlier, ended that stigma.
End the
I know
stigma,
that was a big
Yeah.
part for you guys. So
Yeah.
it's a great story. Chucky, any direct people to any websites, or how do people get in touch with you if they want to?
Yeah, it's chuckysfight.com. If anybody wants to join me, the water is still pretty. It's 39. It's still pretty cold. It takes a long time for it to warm up. So even though the weather is getting a little bit more mild, the water is still pretty challenging. If anybody wants to come and join me,
39 degrees.
yeah, I'm easy.
You already been in today?
Oh yeah, I went in. I went in earlier today, and I go in again at night. And I was saying, I just want to make sure. I said I haven't missed a day in almost 20 years. I can't remember the last day that I missed, but there was a day, I think 10 years ago, that something happened. But
You're worse than an honest golfer, man.
well, but you know what? I get in every single day, twice a day, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's easy. But I would, I love when people come down, and it's a spiritual. I mean, you came in for the first time the other day, and you said you felt pretty
Yesterday,
good,
Yeah, and it was emotional too. I would definitely. It really just made me reflect a lot. So
That's awesome. Yeah,
very
yeah.
thankful.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Are you coming in?
I'm going to join you guys next week. I think.
Next week. He's in a film, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll do the whole thing.
Oh, awesome.
Video and all.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk him into getting in the water physically, but we'll see.
Oh, here we go. I saw that coming. Thank you, boys.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
Great job. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Amen.
Chucky Rosa, Connor Moholland, Michael Wilson. These guys doing great work here for Chucky's Fights.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Amen.
And that's been live at Drew's house. Thank you to Sarah Blackstone, Sarah Hayden, our small but mighty team here in Newburyport. We appreciate you. That will do it. Thank you guys. Live at Drew's house. Peace.